Hey everybody, Finance Farmer, and welcome to the video where I share exactly how we optimize our finances. This will hopefully let us end up with about $4.5 million in retirement. Let's get into it. So the goal of the strategy is simple. It's a few different things, but the most important thing is it gets your money working for you immediately. You go to work, you work for your paycheck hits your account. One day, you would like those dollars to be paying you more than you get paid at work. And it's a long journey to get there. But here are some optimizations I've used that have definitely helped speed up the process. Let's head into it. Moving over to the dashboard here, where you can see where money goes and where it comes from and where it should be sitting. The first point I want to bring up here is that a lot of people have tons of money sitting in their checking accounts, and I've been guilty of this too. But you basically make no money when your money is sitting in the checking account, close to 0%. So instead, you want to have all that money in your savings account. And right now, there are tons of savings accounts that offer about 3.5%, possibly 4% APY. So that's a lot of money. That's going to beat inflation typically. So if you can keep the majority of your cash there, you're already going to have a leg up over the long term. Second of all, you're going to want to have your checks from your work automatically go to your savings account instead of your checking. It may seem like a very small thing to have a few $1,000s here and there and checking for a few days and you spend it down and then you maybe move over the rest at the end of the month. Well, that does add up over the long term, especially at a 3.5% or 4% interest rate. So you can work with your HR or you can set it up yourself on some payroll platforms to get that deposited into your savings instead of your checking account. It should have account and routing numbers. I'm leaving some banks here as well that I know pay pretty high that maybe you could open. The third part here is automatic investing. Automatic investing makes things simple, it keeps you on track, and it's easy to implement. I'm going to be putting the brokerages that you can do automatic investing in up here as well. So I would recommend having this ecosystem where you have your checks, go to your savings. You want to spend as much as you can out of your savings. This leads me on to part number 4. And that is utilizing credit card points. I think if you're a credit card credit card person and you don't carry a balance, there are some great credit cards that offer tons of cash back, talking 3%, like the Robinhood Gold Card. Here's some more cards that also pay pretty high. And it might not seem like a lot of money. We're talking $50 per week on an average median household income if you're spending most of the money. If you can reinvest those points, so cash them out and invest them into something like the S&P 500, that's going to turn into hundreds of thousands of dollars over the long term. So these are just 4 ways you can squeeze a little bit more out of each dollar. Let's get into the math. So here's a breakdown of the returns. If you're around my age, around 26, and you do this until retirement, you're going to end up with $4.44 million at 65. And $3.71 million is going to come from that $150 a week, which is awesome. But you're getting another $650,000-ish if you utilize the cash back and you utilize the savings account. And this assumes that you're just leaving $10,000 in savings and you're spending everything else apart from that $150 a week and you're putting it on the credit card, paying it off, and investing in. This also assumes the S&P 500's 10% per year growth, which is the historical average. And this is in today's money. So it's not going to be quite as much at retirement after inflation, but still, you can see how powerful each one of these steps really is and why it matters to actually optimize your dollars. I'm also leaving a graph here to show what it looks like over the long term. And as you can see, by the end of the period there, about where retirement starts, you can see the gap really widening between just investing versus utilizing your points and your high yield savings. Not everybody's starting at my same age. So if you're 25, you're going to end up with a little bit more at 4.91 million. If you're 30, you're going to end up with 2.96. If you're 35, 1.77. And if you're 40, about $1 million by retirement. Time does the heavy lifting, so the closer you are to retirement, the less time you have. But still, today is always a great day to get started and to put yourself in a better position than where you were yesterday. If you want to set this up yourself, you're going to need a cashback card, a cash/savings account, and a brokerage account. I'm leaving some examples here of some of the cashback cards I've seen. I personally use the Robinhood Gold setup for all this, so the Gold card, the Gold Cash, and the Robinhood brokerage, and it makes things easy to transfer in between. You can also do the same thing with Fidelity or SoFi. I want to mention the risks and the caveats. First of all, returns aren't guaranteed. 10% a year is what the data has shown for the last 100 years or so, but there's going to be years when you're down and multiple years in a row where you could be down. So, my best advice is to hold on in those periods and keep investing, but I'm not a financial advisor, so make your own decision. Another thing is taxes. I would consult with your tax advisor on what account you're using. You could be using a Roth IRA, you could be using a traditional IRA, or you could be using a normal individual brokerage account or joint brokerage account like I do. The taxes are all going to be different depending on the account, also depending on your income, also depending on your location. Another thing I wanted to mention is savings rates. 3.5% is not always going to be the rate. Those change all the time. And then you should always pay your card in full. If you carry a balance, the whole redeeming your credit card points becomes pretty null. So just try to, if you're doing the credit card thing, not to carry a balance. Another thing is the actual financial product, the 3%, the 2%, that could change. So this is just what it is right now, and I like it this way, and I'm hoping it continues this way. In summary, I really like this strategy because it gives you a way to invest and make money even while you're spending money. If you spent all your money and just reinvested your credit card points, you're still going to have a lot of money in retirement. Of course, I hope that you do invest about $150 a week, but even if you don't, the strategy gives you options just if you get paid and that's landing in your high yield savings, you're going to get money for that. If you can invest those points, you're going to get money for that. If you invest every week, hopefully with the market's long-term return, you're going to gain money from that. I hope this gives you a good idea on how to optimize your money to squeeze a little bit more out of every dollar you bring home. If you've enjoyed this video, please like, please subscribe, stay happy, stay growing, and I'll see you in the next one.